Oh, Benno, the brain cells going. That looks good. I was tempted to get one myself. Debating onto it. I don't know whether to get one with just a single ear or two. I quite like having it for a year, but at the moment I've got these silly little things plugged in so I can hear myself. Right, that's a long waffle of nothing from me other than internet, which will have bored Leon totally, which I'm sorry. I'm using obviously SDR television, which I think I heard Gary mentioning. It's working exceptionally well, very well indeed, in fact, and there was a new version due out, not too distant future, but it makes a very easy setup to get going. So that's it's just one. Well, there's very little you got to install to get it up and running, but just follow the instructions and you're away. Yep, I think that's about it for me. So I'll put my my little test card up and pass it over to Roger, who was putting some excellent pictures on the BATC net. I think it was the BATC net. Or some one net. You had excellent pictures, but you had poor audio. Then I heard you testing on the last transmission. I forgot which day it was even, and the audio is absolutely cracking. So don't let us down this time. Your pictures are really, really good, and I look forward to seeing your little model there. I say little model. That's another excellent sort of thing. Anyway, over to you there, Roger, from G8KOE.
Okay, Martin, thank you very much indeed. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, everybody. And nice to join the net again. Just shut the sound up there. And nice to be with you all again. A little week or two since I was last with you. I hope the audio is now acceptable. Well, no, I have no doubt Leon will tell me, if not anybody else. And I hope the video is okay as well. Everything is so marginal here at the moment. I know I've explained it before, but the dish has to fire down the length of the long Victorian terrace. I live up at one end, the wrong end, as far as the satellite's concerned. And unfortunately, when the terrace was built in the 1850s, they didn't quite align it with QO100 in mind, which was really a real lack of foresight on the part of the architect. So it's just a few degrees the wrong way. So and there's very little room at the back of the terrace. In fact, I've got the dish. It's 1.2 meter dish on the flat roof of our utility room at the back. But in order to access the satellite, it has to fire through the chimneys and sundry other bits of the terrace further down, which gives quite a lot of attenuation. I am having another attempt to address the problem, and I hope to do that before too long. It's in the pipeline at the moment. So I won't say any more about that for the moment, but I can give you some indication of how I struggle in that the best I can get out of the beacon is about 6 dB on a good day when the sun's out, maybe 6.5 dB, and quite often it's less than that. So I'm only seeing some of you directly. I'm relying very much on the streamer in order to listen to you all, but the only ones I'm actually seeing live are Gary, Leon, and Martin, because your signals are pretty well level with the beacon, which is just about making it. I find that if people have a lower FEC, and that's why I've got my FEC down at 0.5, so that's probably affecting the video quality. But it does mean I can at least see myself live. With the well, I suppose it's a higher FEC, isn't it, rather than lower? It's, the logic is the other way around. But the 1/2 FEC, I can actually see myself live. Anyway, there's not much to report here. At the risk of boring Martin, I'll just show you what I've been up to in my other workshop. I've got the shack upstairs with most of the electronics, and I have a fairly comprehensive mechanical workshop down in the cellar with lathe and mill and other associated bits and pieces, particularly for modern thanks, Michael. Just seen G0MJW. Nice to see you. Just seen you come up on the chat. Yeah, so I've been messing about down there. I do it when the spirit moves me, and I've just been completing something that's been on the stocks for far too long. Little Stuart engine running on air. So if I just put the other camera on a moment, there we go. Little Stuart single cylinder vertical engine. Right, say it's running on about 3 pounds of air, but yeah. It's just fun, really. I mean, it was designed to run on steam, but I'm just running out on a little compressed air, a little compressor down on the floor. It's called a high-speed engine, which of course is supposed to run much faster, but you can see the action better if it's running slowly. But if I've just opened the throttle a bit, you'll see that it's capable of quite a few revs. If you let's say that's only running on about 3 pounds. There we are. So I hope that gives you a good view of it. There we are. Just wind it down a bit. There we are. Sort of see what's going on a little bit better, particularly with my rather lower than. There we are. Anyway, there we are. So that's what's amusing me at the moment. It's nice to see that finished at last. I've now got I was telling the ATC net on Thursday. I'm now working on another.
You have fallen off the edge. We'll stand by for you, Roger. Off the edge. Okay, I think I'll take it until Roger can get his power back up or whatever is the cause of the mishap. Okay. Very good to see you, Roger, and excellent audio, excellent video. Ooh. Martin, are you back? Sorry, Roger, are you back? ZS. Okay, somebody came up on top of me. Anyway, yeah, but Phil, good work there. And yeah, I see quite a few South African radio amateurs also playing with the PICO. We had a guy down at the AGM of the South African Radio League. They've been doing quite a bit of work on PICO, and I think this weekend they were launching again. So it looks like it's a lot of fun. But you're doing well, and we certainly hope to track it. That's for sure. And then Benno, yeah, I was wondering, I did ask this before, the mesh. This mesh, how do you couple it into the UK, for example, or let's say further afield into Africa? Is it possible? Because unless, I suppose, you connect it through an internet. But it's a great idea, although I don't know if it'll work in South Africa. There are about 5 hams active, and they're all very far apart. And yeah, Henry, no great signals from you, no problem to copy. And incidentally, Benno, yeah, much better audio. Much better audio. So good on you for doing that. And of course, your picture was always excellent. I had Leslie in shack. He's gone home now because it's dark here. And he said, oh, look at all the model aircraft in the background. So he noticed that immediately. So there we go. It's also a hobby of his. And he was at Leon's house and couldn't believe the amount of model aircraft in the lounge. Oh, my goodness. He was in heaven there, Leon. Anyway, Leon, it's probably a CubeSat on 434 dead. There's a lot of guys playing around with these CubeSat things. But if you want to, you can go onto Google and you go to November2YankeeOscar.com. Just key him in. And he gives you a live update of all satellites, even in your region, you see, and what times they come by and also what frequencies. But it's normally these CubeSat beacons that will be around that frequency. And yeah, you go onto Google and you go to November2YankeeOscar.com and you'll get into his site there where you can get live downlinks on these LEOs, because there's so many now. It's actually quite active. But the guys are having a lot of fun, and that little antenna I designed some time back and built, the ARRL, I think it's 1,500 units I've already got. Got an order last Friday for another 500. So I don't make a cent out of it. I'm doing it at cost. And Hans from Amstad, he got the orders, so he gets a little bit of a commission out of it. But anyway, it's good fun. We've got all injection molded parts. So it's really a professional looking little antenna. Works very well. So the youth in America is having a lot of fun with these antennas. Anyway, so Roger, yeah, you dropped off. I don't know what happened, but your signal was excellent. Your video was fine. Audio was great. And hello to Mike. I see Mike's on the other channel there. And yeah, we were doubling. What happened, Mike? Roger dropped out. So, Roger, I'm going to bring you back in to complete your over. And if you will then pass it to Phil, I think that will work. A G3 IUZ to perhaps take it from a ZS6 Yankee India.
Yeah, no, Roger, so I thought I'll take it. I'll leave, I'll suggest that Benno leaves a little bit of a gap to see if Roger wants to come in after me. Yeah. I do like Roger's model. I remember going as a young lad and whole of the ground floor of the Science Museum was, looks like someone doubled. Yeah, I'm back. I think I'm back. Come on, sync up. Yeah, I'm back. Yeah, I think Science Museum when I was young, the ground floor was absolutely covered in models like that. Absolutely fantastic. But I don't have a metal workshop as such. There are times when I think, oh, could do with one, but yeah, but I haven't. I've got the space, but probably will go through the floor. But anyhow, that's another story. It's another story. Yeah, Liam, the supercapacitors. I'm going to go down that avenue. These are the, I don't know if I showed them before. These are lithium cells, which are ideal. And they'll keep it running for quite a time. It's got two problems with these. First is their weight, 5.5 grams. Basically, that's 4.5 grams overweight. So I can't use them. And the other is the charge time. Because it would take quite a time to charge these up for sufficient voltage to for the Pico to actually work. So, yeah, that's why that went out. Too heavy, and to charge them up would take too long. Certainly by the solar panels. And as for the supercapacitor, I've had a look, and I'm going by weight. 4.5 grams is, or 4.9 grams is basically 3.9 grams way overweight. My maximum weight for a capacitor would be less than a gram. But I have ordered some 0.33 of a farad capacitors. I couldn't find the spec for them, but Google tells me that it should be less than 1 gram. We shall see when they arrive. One of those because the Pico will actually shut off when the volt's going into the device. It will shut off when the volts go below 2.6 volts. It gets shut off at that point. So I'm going from it'll be about 3.2 volts, and that will be going into a supercapacitor, but it's only 0.33. And there's a calculator on the web that I put that into, and I think that it will keep going for somewhere around about 6 to 10 seconds, which is way more than what I really need. And if these 0.33s work, I shall use them. If they don't work, they will work, but if they're too heavy, then I might look around for some slightly smaller ones, maybe, I don't know, 0.1 of a farad, which would do the job. But it all depends upon weight, because that is the big criteria, is weight. But anyhow, that's enough of me. Right, I'm going to disappear now. I hope everybody has a good week, etc., etc. Hope to be here next week. Benno is next on the list, but I think Roger can probably, or should be able to get in. So if you want to leave a gap, Benno, and see if Roger can actually get in. So have a good week, everybody. Let me put up the test card, and then I should kill carrier. That was a lot of noise. I wonder how long I should wait. I think Roger, if you want to talk to us on the chat, so we notice what you want to do. Otherwise, we keep on trying to get you in to complete the session. Marvelous job. Even if I have a big workshop, I would never be able to create something like what you just showed us, Roger. Great. It's looking very nice, and yeah, I think great job. And for Phil, I think you need a bigger balloon. Working on all the model planes, I always had huge problems. I won't come on today, Roger. Okay, that's all. That's great. That's good. I hope you can solve the power supply problems without too much money. It looked already like that somewhere blown a fuse or something like that. Yeah, working on model planes, always you have weight issues. You want to make it lighter, you want to make it faster, you want to make it last the battery longer, and in the end I found out just take a bigger motor, take a bigger battery, and you can fly longer. And I think for your idea, take a bigger balloon. I think I saw something like a balloon which you can see normally on those for the children, those balloons filled with helium. Actually, I saw this. I used to when I was into model planing, I was trying to make a Zeppelin using a lot of helium there, and I had looked into creating myself a helium balloon, and I was pretty far on the way already. But then I found out the cost of helium and the availability of helium, and that kind of spoiled my appetite for this project. At that time I was thinking about 100 euros of helium without being able to to keep it. You can fill the balloon. If you want to take it out, you have to suck it out, push it back into a container, and obviously you can't drive around with a big helium balloon in your car. And I was thinking about a few square cubes, a few cube of helium air in there. So I wonder what your idea on that is. But we should talk about that on a different occasion. Mesh core. Mesh core and mesh testing. Mesh testing was there first, and I think mesh core is the logic next thing, and that is all. It has actually the same hardware, so mesh testing and mesh core is using the same hardware, but the way mesh testing works, every device gets being a repeater. So this device I have here is using as a companion, as a way to get into the network. And yeah, I don't think this needs to be a repeater, because this will be in my shack or in my trouser or in my whatever. And if this would be a repeater,
it causes another extra transmission. If you think about that, and if you have 10 of these in your area, you will have 10 repeaters repeating each other, and it will never stop. It gets quiet again. So if you think about that, that was the general idea on mesh core. Mesh core, there is a clear division between a companion, which is only for getting into the network, and then the network itself being repeaters at high places, or at least outside at rooftops, or at outside of balconies. And yes, Gary, I think if you are thinking about the hams in your area, it will never work. But being it open, this means you can put it everywhere. You don't need a license for that, meaning you don't, if you want to create yourself 10 repeaters in your area, you don't need 10 licenses for that. And you can drop them everywhere around on buildings or wherever you want. And if you're not ready with it, your neighbor can create the next repeater, or maybe you give him at least the way how to. And having said that, repeaters are not that expensive. For about 100 euros you can buy on AliExpress a complete repeater. So you don't have to create one. You can buy a complete repeater for not that much. And you think about that as creating a community channel for your area, for your village, for your city, for whatever. And don't think about coverage on the whole of South Africa, but at least a good way of creating a channel where the community can quickly communicate in case of emergency. And that's all what it's all about, I think, at the moment. I mean, it's never being that good as WhatsApp. It will never be that good as Telegram or any other internet channel. It will never produce pictures. You cannot send pictures on there because it's all about short text messages. On the other hand, it is very good, capable in creating a channel, an open channel for the whole community. And that's the only I think way of thinking about this. And like in the Netherlands, they have, like I said, 3,000 repeaters at the moment, which is crazy. The average builder has created 3-4 repeaters around them, myself included. And that's, I think, way over the whole target. But at least in the end, if the power really fails, I think we have about 400 or 500 solar repeaters left, and at least we still have a network running, and that's the whole general idea. I don't want to send messages to South Africa on mesh core. I can do it, by the way, to England and to Germany. England is already going across channel. If you see this website, where is it? So this is pretty much Holland, and you can see it is all going across the channel. And in England they also have quite a number of sites already. And so it is crossing the channel. Like I said, 20-30 kilometers. Remember, there's nothing in between. If you have a beam here, You put 500 milliwatts on there. You have a direct line of sight to these spots. So yeah, it's going across. It will not go this far because this is crazy. It will never reach South Africa of Australia, but then again, you don't need to. It is all a matter of local, and you want your community be able to communicate together to each other in case of whatever. That's a whole general idea of mesh core. And Meshtastic, yes, but I think it is creating a bigger mess on the same idea, and that's why mesh core is the better idea of creating a good network. Okay, that's all for now. I don't think yeah, I noticed the small frequency, Henry, but yeah, Winter Hills catches without any problems, and I think yeah, if you have any time, I don't know what you are using for a program to transmit with. What is your FFmpeg creator? If you use, for instance, simple things like Easy, DRTV Easy, or DRTV Red, both have the abilities to do some fine tuning in there. It's right on the screens, so that would be not too big of a problem. I don't think you need a GPS synchronized Pluto, or you need to change the Pluto calibration in there. Okay, 73 is all. Next week I will be somewhere in my mobile home, and the week after as well, on the annual VPK Pinksterkamp weekend, and at least in 2 weeks I won't be there. Maybe in 1 week. Well, I had on a small idea to bring me a bigger dish and transmit from the mobile home. Let's see what's happening. At least I will be active on the narrowband from the mobile home. That works without any problem, but creating a decent DATV signal, I don't know. Well, I will just make myself on the list, and we'll see from that. From Papa Alpha 3 Fox Bravo X-ray, off and clear. And my test card is there. And passing it on to, yeah, I should have looked at, to Henry. Back to you in South Africa from Papa Alpha 3 Fox Bravo X-ray. Bye bye. Have a good week.
It does help if you switch the microphone on. I saw my lips move that there was no sound. It sounds like when you have your if you have an argument with somebody, you have a silent movie. So anyway, there we go. So okay, so I can actually hear myself. All right, great. Thank you very much, Benno. That was really very, very interesting, and thanks for giving me the tip on DATV Easy. Yeah, thank you for the explanation, Benno, on the difference between mesh static and mesh core. And I can see where the application can be for it. There's no doubt about it. From an emergency point of view, that would work extremely well. Yeah. So I'm just having a look here. I'm not going to go in any particular order. But a very nice signal from you, Roger, when you started off, and then something just changed, and then I sort of had this ghostly apparition of you for a while, and I think it's maybe on my side. And then you came back to normal. Everything was fine at 100%. And it was very, very nice seeing you, Roger, for the first time. And what a wonderful thing you've done with regards to that engine. I mean, that takes hard work and dedication to build something like that, I think, and also very fine motor skills. So yep, that's great. And Phil, I'm sure you're going to get yourself sorted out, and you're going to get that picker balloon up in the air and working very, very well. Yeah, you may want to consider a bigger balloon, but I think you've got it all sorted, and the objective is to get it as lightweight as possible, and that you're achieving that. Leon, I did a quick search with regards to 434 megahertz. At one stage they had LoRa satellites going over, but I think that's ended. So there must be something else that is creating that frequency. And Gary, yes, good point, n2yo.com. It's a good place to start. I've looked at that website quite a few times. Find it very, very interesting. Okay, and I also, Leon, I liked your music in the beginning. I listen to RSG quite often, and today was Mother's Day in South Africa, guys. And also at the same time, Martin, I like your flowers in the background. It reminded me of Mother's Day. I don't know when you chaps have it in the UK or in the Netherlands. But today has been Mother's Day here in South Africa, and everybody was out in full force taking their mothers out for breakfast this morning. So it was interesting to see, and at the same time quite rewarding. Unfortunately, my wife was down in Mother's Day with her family down in Cape Town. So yep, I'll see her tomorrow, and then I can give her some flowers and celebrate my Mother's Day with her. So, yep, there we go. I have nothing more to add except, yes, thank you very much. If I've missed anybody out, Gary, thank you very much once again for running the net. It is absolutely a pleasure being here with you, and for getting it all going for us. So that's it. I'll see you again next week, all being equal, and thank you very much for a lovely net today. So, Gary, I'm going to pass it. Let's see. I must pass it to Leon. Leon, so I'm going to pass it over to you. ZS1 Mike and the net. This is ZS1 Mike Charlie saying 73 to all. Bye now.